Hello, this is Frank Yosa from franklyrealty.com, and this is the first wheel estate cam. What I'm going to do is attach to my steering wheel this camera, and over here if you hear noises on the side, that's from the GPS. I'm going to attach the camera here facing myself, and hopefully you won't get too dizzy. So let me hook that up, spin that around, hope you're not getting too sick. Alright, and I've got some strange looks from Walker Pass. Okay. So today we're going to talk about bank properties and bidding wars with bank properties. It's a really scary concept to actually have a bidding war in this marketplace. People say, oh, it's a buyer's marketplace and, you know, got a low ball and all that stuff. And they would rather get $50,000 off on a place that was $100,000 overpriced. They'd rather do that so they can tell all their coworkers that they got a great deal versus paying $1,000, $2,000, or $5,000 above full price above list price on a property that is bank owned that might be $50,000 under full price. So first you got to get over the percentage off list and focus on value. So how does one determine what price to offer on a bank owned property? Well, there's several ways to do it. First of all, you do the typical CMA, the comparative market analysis on the property in the neighborhood to find out what things have sold for in the past, what's currently active, but obviously it has not sold, so you don't want to use that price directly. But also properties that are under contract. Under contract is a little bit tougher because you don't know until it closes what it went for. So it's very important to try to figure out what the property is closed for, and a buyer agent can sometimes look up who the other buyer agent is for those properties. Call up the buyer agent or email the buyer agent, email the listing agent, and try and find out what that property is going for. Now sometimes they won't tell you, sometimes they will, but recently I had a listing and they told me I was able to get out of them not the exact amount but a ballpark amount, and the information told me that they were going to be actually dropping the price $50,000. So that information was extremely valuable because we needed to list our property a week earlier than we planned, because we need to get ours under contract before that property closes. Otherwise our property will not appraise. So your buyer agent should be able to try and get some predictions and do some research to find out what that property might close for. So another thing I do is called the Frankly CRA, and there's a blog on that at blog.franklyrealty.com, and what that is a comparative realtor analysis. Instead of analysis on the background on the homes that have sold, analysis on the realtor. This is especially important for bank-owned properties because banks oftentimes give multiple dozens of listings to this one agent, and what happens is they pick up a pattern or a trend. So if you find out that this listing agent has sold 10 other bank-owned properties and 6 or 7 of them have gone under contract in the first week for $10,000 above list price. Actually, you should use percentages. Let's say 2%, 3, 4, 5% above list price. That information is very important, telling you that it's very likely that this property that you think is a bargain, other people think it's a bargain as well. So let me also talk about and not only can you do a Frankly CRA on the listing agent, but you can also sometimes do it on the bank. So if the bank uses multiple agents, there's a way to look up the owner name and get some important information there. So after the Frankly CRA, what I would look at is the number of offers that are being submitted. If there's only one offer on the table, it's probably not going to be for list price just yet. Once there's 2 offers on the table, most likely 80% chance of my guess that it's going to go within 5 or 10 grand of list price. And once you have 3 offers on the table, I would say that it's again 80% chance that you are above list price. Someone has had the courage to go $100, $500, $1,000 above list price. Once you get to like 5 offers, 7, and recently I saw 10 offers on a place, the sky's the limit. And that's where it again becomes important. What has the agent done in the last 10 deals? And if the highest that they've ever gone is 7%, you know, mathematically you're probably going to do well if you do, you know, a percentage higher than that. But I would never go based just on that. But there's tons of variables for you to decide, you know, what to offer. Ultimately, the buyer is the one that makes the offer as well. You can't ask me, well, what would you do if you were me? Well, if I were you, I'd take this money and I'd go to Hawaii. So I'm not you. So it's up to you and your risk tolerance. You know, what are your opportunities? If you don't get this place, are there tons of other bank properties coming on the market? Side note, there's some services that realtors can sign up for to find out about bank foreclosures that are in the pipeline a month or two before they hit the MLS. Not to buy them before they hit the MLS, but just to know what's out there so that you don't, you know, overextend yourself in this one place. It's good to know that there's 5 other ones or 1 or 2 coming up shortly behind them. So what I like to use is this thing called the Vegas odds system, where I'll give you percentage chance that I think that you'll win if you put an offer in for X, Y, and Z. So it's ultimately up to you. How aggressive do you want to be? You just can't get mad at me if you want to be aggressive, meaning on the low side if you want to be aggressive, but then you get mad at me for not winning it. So you can't say, I want $50,000 off, or I want this price, but I have to have it, and it'll be your fault if I don't get it. And then you ask me, oh, well, what do you think I should offer? Well, it doesn't work that way. So I can give you, you know, there's an 80% chance, 80% chance that you'll win it if you put in this offer, 50% chance on this offer, 20% chance on this offer price, and it's up to you what level of aggressiveness you want to be. I'll be as aggressive as you want, sometimes to a fault. Sometimes I'm too aggressive. So you also want to put in your offer as late as possible, but not too late, obviously. As late as possible, because if you put in your offer first, it will just encourage a ton of other people to put in offers. So try and put it in as late as possible. And then when you're right before you're about to put it in, then you ask the agent, hey, how many do you have in hand? And when realtors ask other realtors what they have in hand, it's a pretty serious matter. And people frequently have said to me, well, how do you know that there's multiple offers? What about, you know, showing proof? Yeah, you could technically ask for proof, but you might also get a note next to your name saying, dear bank, this buyer might be a pain in the neck. Let's go to another cleaner offer. Let's talk quickly about clean offers. I won a bank-owned property recently that was not the highest price. It was the highest, it was the best in terms, meaning that it was a clean offer. So the price is not the only thing. It's about how much you're putting down, a whole bunch of other variables, always with home inspection, don't get me wrong. Unless you're an investor, you must do it with the home inspection, but there's ways to do it as is and stuff like that. Maybe that'll be an upcoming blog, so make sure to subscribe to both the YouTube videos and to the blog.franklyrealty.com. And escalation clauses also don't work for bank-owned properties. They sometimes send everyone a notice saying, don't even think about sending us an escalation because we will just counter at full price. So that's what they do. If they receive an offer with an escalation, side note, is this inventive, this very smart contract, one-page contract someone invented 5 years ago or so, where they said that my buyer will pay $100 above the next buyer, kind of like an eBay style, and then that gets the property bid up in that manner. But banks don't deal with that. They just take your highest price and they counter, if they ever counter, they will counter at the top high price. So that doesn't work. So that's why it's really important to try to figure out how many offers, what the property should go for, based on that it's as is and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for the first edition of the Wheel Estate Cam, and make sure to leave a comment down there underneath the YouTube video, because comments will make me look good. Hundreds and thousands of you guys watch this, but only 1 or 2 will chime in. So even if you write, you know, thanks or you're stupid, feel free to debate me. Love to start a dialogue in the comments section. And head on over to blog.franklyrealty.com and subscribe. And lastly, I'd like to thank Ian Watts. This was his idea to do the car cam. I just added the element of the wheel estate cam. So hopefully it's not made you sick. Maybe I should put a disclaimer warning up front that watching this video might make you sick. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.